In the fitness-obsessed culture of 2026, the bodybuilder diet has moved from the gritty basements of Gold's Gym to the mainstream. Whether it's vertical diet enthusiasts or IFYM, if it fits your macros, disciples, the promise is always the same: radical body recomposition and peak performance. But what happens when a food safety expert and average athlete attempts to eat like a professional IFBB pro for a week? I spent 7 days consuming over 3,200 calories and 250 g of protein daily. I tracked my blood glucose, monitored my sleep architecture with an Oura ring, and logged every mood swing. The results were not just physical. They were a fascinating look into the biology of extreme nutrition. 1. The protocol, the vertical light approach. To make this experiment as 2026 relevant as possible, I followed a modified vertical diet, a protocol designed by Stan Efferding that focuses on high-quality, easily digestible micronutrients to support massive caloric intake. The staples: white rice for fast-acting glycogen, grass-fed ground beef for iron, zinc, and B12, orange juice for potassium, and the monster mash, a slurry of beef, rice, and broth. The macros: 55% carbs, 30% protein, 15% fat. The schedule: 6 meals a day, spaced precisely 3 hours apart. This rigid structure is designed to optimize gastric emptying, ensuring that the body can process a high volume of nutrients without the debilitating bloat often associated with high-fiber, clean eating. By prioritizing white rice over brown, the diet minimizes anti-nutrients like lectins and phytates, allowing for rapid glycogen replenishment. However, the relentless consistency of these meals can quickly turn a dietary strategy into a psychological test of endurance. 2. Day-by-day breakdown, the biological roller coaster. Days 1 to 2, the honeymoon phase. Initially, I felt like a machine. My strength during my 6 a.m. workout skyrocketed. With my glycogen stores topped off, I hit a personal best on the bench press. The dopamine hit from eating large quantities of salted beef and rice was real. However, by the evening of day 2, I noticed a significant increase in body temperature, a phenomenon known as the thermic effect of food, TF. My body was working so hard to process the protein that I was sweating while sitting on my couch. Days 3 to 5, the meat sweat plateau. This is where the psychological toll began. Eating became a chore. The food noise that GLP-1 users seek to eliminate was replaced by food fatigue. I found myself staring at my 5th bowl of rice with genuine resentment. Digestion: my gut felt heavy. Despite the easy-to-digest white rice, the sheer volume caused significant bloating. Energy: my blood glucose remained stable, but I felt logy, a heavy, sluggish sensation that follows the massive insulin release required to process 80 g of carbs in one sitting. Days 6 to 7, the rebound. By the end of the week, my weight was up 4 pounds. Most of this was intracellular water. For every gram of glycogen stored in the muscle, the body holds nearly 3 to 4 grams of water. I looked fuller in the mirror, but I felt physiologically exhausted. 3. The biometric data, what the blood said. Based on the biometric data collected over the 7-day experiment, the results illustrate a significant physiological shift between the baseline and the post-experiment phase. The table shows that fasting glucose rose from 88 milligrams per deciliter to 96 milligrams per deciliter, while resting heart rate increased from 54 bpm to 61 bpm. Most notably, BUN, blood urea nitrogen, jumped from 14 milligrams per deciliter to a high of 24 milligrams per deciliter, indicating that the kidneys were under substantial strain to process excess nitrogen from the high protein intake. Additionally, C-reactive protein, a primary marker for systemic inflammation, nearly doubled from 0.8 milligrams per liter to 1.5 milligrams per liter, likely triggered by digestive stress and the caloric surplus. This data serves as a stark reminder that appearing physically fit does not always equate to internal health, as even a clean bodybuilding diet can be an inflammatory event for the body. 4. Scientific comparison: bodybuilding versus biology. Modern sports science suggests that for most humans, the sweet spot for protein synthesis is roughly 1.6 g to 2.2 g of protein per kilogram of body weight. I was consuming nearly 3.5 g/kg. The waste factor. Research shows that after a certain point, extra protein doesn't build more muscle. It's simply oxidized for energy or converted into urea. I was essentially paying for expensive beef to produce expensive urine. The micronutrient gap. While I was high in zinc and B12, my diet lacked the diverse phytonutrients found in a varied Mediterranean-style diet. My microbiome diversity likely plummeted over these 7 days as I prioritized easy digestion over fiber variety. This excessive intake forces the liver to deaminate surplus amino acids, converting them into fuel while increasing metabolic waste. 5. The honest review. Is it worth it? Appearance. 9 out of 10. The pump and muscle fullness were undeniable. Mood. 3 out of 10. I was irritable, focused entirely on my next meal, and socially isolated. Digestion. For tenths, the vertical approach helped, but the volume was too much for a non-professional. Sustainability. 1 out of 10. I never want to see a bowl of ground beef again. Actionable alternatives for the non-pro. If you want the bodybuilder look without the biological tax, try these 2026 approved modifications. 1. Protein pulsing. You don't need 250 g. Aim for 30 g, 40 g of protein every 4 hours. This maximizes the leucine trigger without overloading your kidneys. 2. Fiber-forward carbs. Swap some white rice for berries or roasted sweet potatoes. Your gut microbiome will thank you, and you'll avoid the massive insulin spikes. 3. The 80-20 rule. Eat like a bodybuilder for your pre- and post-workout meals, but eat like a normal, healthy human for the rest of the day. The expert's bottom line. The bodybuilder diet is a specialized tool for a specific goal, maximum hypertrophy. It is not a lifestyle for the long-term health-conscious individual. My week-long experiment proved that while you can force your body into a certain aesthetic, the internal cost, inflammation, kidney strain, and mental fatigue is a high price to pay. Eat for your goals. But remember, you are a human, not a heat map for protein oxidation. By day 7, the data revealed a concerning trend in metabolic inflexibility. Constant feeding prevents the body from ever entering a fasted state, which is essential for autophagy, the cellular cleanup process that prevents long-term disease. When you are in a permanent state of digestion, your insulin levels rarely hit baseline, potentially leading to subclinical insulin resistance even if you look shredded on the outside.